This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. We begin with a very positive sign. Tourism's making a comeback in St. Thomas. The territory welcomed its first cruise ship to Crown Bay Harbor in St. Thomas on Tuesday for the first time since March of 2020. The cruise industry has taken a several billion-dollar hit when the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a no-sail order last spring. And of course, with cruise ships docked, it has meant a big blow to businesses here in the VI and the economy as a whole. So this is certainly a welcome sight. Just within the past couple of weeks, cruises in the U.S. set sail with many COVID mitigation efforts in place. Governor Albert Bryan Jr. welcomed Celebrity Cruises liner Celebrity Edge to town.
I just had to make sure we go down there. We had our beautiful dancers from the Department of Tourism welcoming them to the island. Everybody had on the mask, so we're hoping that we're going to get more calls just like this throughout the summer in both the St. Thomas St. John district as well as in St. Croix. We're expecting our first one in August there, so another beautiful day. But while this is welcome for our news for our vendors, taxi drivers, local small business who depend on the tourist traffic, our success depends on how well we each adhere to our COVID policy and to the health guidelines that are put before us, and how many of us are vaccinated against the virus.
And speaking of vaccinations, currently just about 47% of Virgin Islanders are now fully vaccinated. Let's take a look at the latest numbers. 36,956 people are fully vaccinated with 2 doses, which is about 47% of the population. The Virgin Islands Department of Health has administered 44,705 first doses, which is about 56% of the population. The VI Government House has hired more outreach workers and staff to try to get the message out to get vaccinated in an effort to decrease vaccine hesitancy, especially in the age range of 16 to 49. They're making it as easy as possible to get a vaccine in the territory, and for Governor Bryan, it's personal.
I lost a good friend this weekend to COVID, and I've had many other of my friends be hospitalized and treated, and had some near misses, but most of them made it out. The thing with this disease, this virus, is like you never know when you're going to be the one. You never know who you're going to infect, and maybe they will be the one. There's no reason for anybody to have to die from this disease at this point. We need to go out and get vaccinated. This virus is real. It's not a joke.
And you can get a vaccine at pop-up events happening across the territory through private providers, as well as those community vaccination center. To schedule an appointment, you can call 340-777-8227 or go online to covid19usvi.com/vaccine. Anybody 12 years of age and older are eligible to get the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. And in terms of current case counts, here's the latest on coronavirus numbers in the territory. Cases have risen a bit over the past week. There are currently 71 active cases throughout the VI, with 34 in St. Croix, 36 in St. Thomas, and 1 case in St. John right now. 4th of July weekend travel may have revived the COVID threat in the U.S., especially for unvaccinated people who are most at risk from the more contagious variant, the Delta variant. About 8 million passengers went through U.S. airports between July 1st and the 4th, nearly triple the number from last year.
There was a real sense of revelry on the 4th of July as an estimated 48 million people left their homes to celebrate.
It's good to be free again without the mask, at least outside.
But the growing threat is the Delta variant of COVID-19. It's 40 to 60% more transmissible, with indications it may cause more serious disease. It now makes up more than a quarter of all cases nationwide.
All this travel this weekend mixes people up. The Delta virus is traveling also, so it will be introduced everywhere.
Dr. William Schaffner is an infectious disease expert at Vanderbilt.
We may indeed see cases start to go up again, along with hospitalizations, and then down the road, once again, deaths.
Yesterday, California announced the Delta variant is now the dominant strain in the state, making it at least the 5th state where the new strain has taken over. In places like Arkansas, Wyoming, and Nevada, where full vaccination rates are below 50%, cases are once again spiking. Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak is trying to buck that trend, with his state leading the nation in new COVID cases.
$5 million in cash and prizes for nearly 2,000 eligible Nevada residents who have been vaccinated.
This gamble could help as long as people get their second dose. In Texas, for example, more than 1 million people skipped their second vaccine appointment, which is about 9% of those eligible. And that is the number that really has health officials concerned. Consider that in a recent UK study, it found that the Pfizer vaccine's efficacy against the Delta variant drops to 33% for those who just have one dose. It jumps up to 88% for those who are fully vaccinated. But we know that could really be the difference between life and death for the most vulnerable.
The best musical performances in the VI and Caribbean took center stage this Sunday on St. John in celebration of Carnival. Oh, you gotta love the sounds of Carnival. The Vaccination Carnival event brought several acts, including Rudy Live, Spectrum, Cool Session, John Gotti, and headliner Patrice Roberts, of course, one of the biggest names in soca. USVI News' Ali Bourne-Vanak caught up with Patrice right before she took the stage.
I'm here with none other than Patrice. Patrice, how are you doing?
I'm blessed. I mean, it feels so great to be out of Trinidad, out of the country, and just be free. It's been a tough year. You know, I'm now I'm getting the opportunity to do what I love. And not only that, but I haven't been in St. Thomas or St. John's for a couple of years, and I'm here. I'm excited.
We are so happy to have you here. What is it like just seeing the stage and hearing the music? I mean, it feels like the old days of Carnival.
Of course, I am excited. I'm always excited to perform for my fans. You know, performing is something I love to do. I love to entertain. I love to see a smile on people's faces. And once I see that, I'm happy and content.
You have a whole island, literally, of people in the audience. Just they can't wait to hear you. What does that feel like?
Like a big accomplishment. You know, I've worked so hard for this. I've always wanted to be an entertainer, and just to know that I'm loved and appreciated, it motivates me to even push harder, you know?
Well, you know, a big hope is that something like this can be replicated, right? So that more islands in the Caribbean can also have their carnivals back.
Yeah, man, I think it's long overdue. I think it's time. Given the pandemic, I understand, but I can't wait for everything to be back together, back to normal again.
Yeah, and Patrice isn't alone there. Looks like it was a great time over the weekend in St. John. Now to the latest on Tropical Storm Elsa. The storm made landfall Monday on Cuba's south coast. The storm brought heavy rain that turned rivers into torrents and flooded streets. Parts of Cuba got 5 to 10 inches of rain from the storm, and isolated areas up to 15 inches. Elsa had sustained winds of up to 60 miles per hour when it passed through Cuba. More than 100,000 people were evacuated from flood-prone areas or unsafe housing ahead of the storm. Tropical Storm Elsa churned across the island and is creeping closer to Florida, where officials are expecting a storm surge of 3 to 5 feet in some counties. Elsa is currently packing 60 to 65 mile per hour winds. The storm has already caused at least 3 deaths, flooding damage, and much other damage in the Caribbean. So Tropical Storm Elsa gains strength as it stalks the Florida Gulf Coast. Landfall is expected overnight Tuesday, but the system is already causing major problems. Here's the latest from Clearwater Beach, Florida.
Elsa's first swipe at Florida comes in the Keys.
A lot of rain, a lot of wind, shut us down for work.
On the move, the winds now intensifying to near hurricane strength. But it's the growing surf and driving rain that could do the most damage.
This is going to be a water event. There is going to be flooding. There is going to be storm surge. And that's what gives us the greatest concern.
Concern that, like the forecast path, stretches along the entire west coast of the state. Residents in the potential strike zone lining up for sandbags in a late race to get ready. Tampa International Airport suspending all operations at 5 this evening. The Rays postponing tonight's game against the Indians at Tropicana Field. And while search and recovery work does continue at the site of that tragic collapse in Surfside, crews are being forced to adjust to the changing conditions.
The wind is hampering the large cranes moving very heavy debris. That's a challenge that they're attempting to work around right now.
As the system churns in the warm waters of the Gulf, Elsa's intensity is not the only thing that worries those in its path.
The timing is a little scary because it's early. It's just the beginning of July. It's only 1 month into hurricane season.
A season many forecasters warn will be long and very active.